Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. I'm going to explore my map of the nervous system and how it connects to the brain, which is part of the topic covered in the module 2. So first of all, before we start, we just need to understanding each terms. So first one, we need to understanding what's the nervous system. So the nervous system controls how we sense things and move and think. In the nervous system, which is including two parts. First part is the central nervous system, and second part is the peripheral nervous systems. So the central nervous systems includes the brain and also spinal cord. It processes information, sends out instructions. Think of it's just like a command center. So let's have a look spinal cord. So pretty much a spinal cord is the main pathway to transmitting information between your body and also your brain. So the brain, okay, the important part. It pretty much processes everything like sight, sound, the thoughts, emotions. It dividing into several regions. So now let's have a look. What does it look like? So if you're from the top of the head, then we can see this is our brain. And it divided into left and right, which is what we call the left and right hemisphere. Then from the side of the brain, we can see they have divided into different regions. So first part, we're going to introduce the cerebral cortex. It's responsible for the thinking, memory, and decision making. So it includes frontal lobe. It processes everything's reasoning and movement. Parietal lobe, that you can see it over here. It's pretty much in charge with all the movements, stimuli perception. That you can see it over here. Whatever things you see, it just processed over here. And also occipital lobe, which is the use of responsible for the visual processing. And the last part is the temporal lobe, which is a speech recognition in this area. So now let's have a deeper look. In here, the black part, which is what we call the prefrontal cortex. This region is the key for executive functions like planning, judgment, and personality. And next to it, which is what we call the primary motor cortex. So primary motor cortex pretty much is the sense signal to the muscle to initiating any of the involuntary movement. Then the next part is the primary somatosensory cortex. It's a region to process the sensory information like touch, pain, and temperature. So now we already have a look the region of the brain. So now let's look the peripheral nervous system. So what's the peripheral nervous system? It pretty much is all the nerves outside of your brain and spinal cord that acts like a messenger, carries out all the signal to and from the central nervous system. You also including a subsystem, which is what we call the somatic nervous system. So what's the somatic nervous system? So this system controls the voluntary movement and carries out the information. For example, when you touch something hot, this system sends out a signal to your brain and also controls your muscle to pull your hands away. I hope you enjoyed today's introduction.